And our jam is underway. Napoleon blown apart, jamming for the high rollers.
And for the Breakneck Betties, that's Much Mayhem.
Minstrel Psycho dropping back to try and play offense for Napoleon blown apart. She was successful, and Napoleon blown apart is your lead jammer.
Much Mayhem taking huge hits all the way through that pack, but has broken out and is on her scoring pass.
Flexine and Layla Smackdown up front. Minstrel Psycho and Napalm Beth in the back. 2 points for the high rollers, 1 for the Breakneck Betties, and fans, we are underway.
Man, that got going so fast I couldn't even keep track of it. On the line for your Breakneck Betties, number 523, Liquor and Split.
She opposite number 48, Feliz Brutality for the high rollers.
Old school. Blockers all up front. Liquor and Split pushing her way around on the outside and trying to find her way through.
Feliz Brutality being walled up in the back. Hide-and-go-seek out front.
Liquor and Split breaks out. Lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Feliz Brutality jumps her way around Shove Me Tender. She is clear on her initial pass.
Liquor and Split up against that line. Huge jump. Takes a tumble. Oh, and is called.
Illegal procedure being called on Liquor and Split. She is headed to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. That means Feliz Brutality is the only jammer of record out on the track. Power jam, high rollers.
Breakneck Betty's doing a great job up front. Scrappy Go Lucky. Scouts on her and Shove Me Tender holding it together.
Feliz Brutality through that pack. 5-point grand slam, high rollers. Penny Dreadful headed to the penalty box for the high rollers.
Shove Me Tender tossed to the inside, dragged to the back of the pack. Feliz Brutality dropped to the inside.
That was the work of Push Latouche and Shove Me Tender. Feliz Brutality goes to the outside. 5-point grand slam, high rollers.
Breakneck Betty setting up shop in the backfield, waiting for Feliz to meet the line.
Direction of play, penalty assessed to Layla Smackdown. She's headed to the penalty box. Another direction of play penalty, this time to Scout's honor of the Breakneck Betties.
Hide-and-go-seek in there with Steve Holt breaking up the line.
Feliz Brutality trying to find an answer to Shove Me Tender and Scrappy Go Lucky.
Up front, Push Latouche, Scrappy Go Lucky, and the jam is off.
4 more points for Feliz Brutality as that jam comes to an end. Minstrel Psycho on the jam line for the high rollers.
And for the Breakneck Betties, number 127, Chestnuts.
Backfield in motion to start the jam. Both jammers push to the outside. Psycho leveled by Megahertz. Minstrel Psycho is your lead jammer, and so is Chestnuts.
Couple of missed calls in there. Chestnuts being sent off the track, apparently called on a cut.
Darth Bling giving her a cut penalty, which will send her to the penalty box. Cadillac and White Flight both out to check in with the referee crew.
Right back to play.
I'd like to take this time to thank OHSU Sports Medicine, a proud sponsor and the official care team of the Rose City Rollers. Receive next day medical care by visiting Sports Medicine Hotline at 494-4000.
So the high rollers are going to start this jam in a power jam as Chestnuts was sent to the penalty box at the very end of that last jam. Napoleon blown apart, the only jammer of record on the track.
Scrappy Go Lucky up front doing her job and slowing down Napoleon.
Penny Dreadful, though, fighting back. Nice work by Shove Me Tender. Napoleon blown apart, not the lead jammer, past one Betty's blocker that was out of bounds.
Scrappy-go-lucky and Projectile on the track by themselves. Shove Me Tender doing an excellent job dropping Napoleon to the outside. Scout's Honor joins the line. Up front, Hostile Projectile holding on. Has to let her go.
5-point Grand Slam, Napoleon blown apart as the High Rollers blockers doing a great job of containment in the backfield.
Scout's Honor and Shove Me Tender jump right in front of her, but it's Napoleon blown apart on the inside.
Nice hit by Hostile Projectile, dropping Napoleon blown apart. However, she is quick to recover.
Hostile Projectile has to let her go. Another 5 for Napoleon blown apart.
Chestnut's back on the track and mixing it up with the pack. Flexine tries to knock her out. Lead jammer status going to Chestnuts.
There's a lot of work in that jam.
2 more points for Napoleon blown apart as that jam comes to an end.
Bridgetown chiropractor Doc Bones, the official bone cracker of the Rose City Rollers since 2006. DocBones.com. Go visit it.
Feliz Brutality on the jam line for the High Rollers.
And for the Breakneck Betties, much mayhem.
Holy empty tall boy, it's an empty Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box to start this jam.
Holy mackerel, much mayhem taking the long walk around.
Same with Napalm Beth, both skaters being sent to the penalty box. Indigo Hurl's gonna join them. So that's 1, 2, 3 skaters to the penalty box.
And that leaves Feliz Brutality on the track all by herself. No, it's not.
No, much mayhem back out on the track, being escorted to the outside by Harry Carey.
My bad call, sorry about that.
Megahertz now going to the penalty box. Feliz Brutality is your lead jammer. Everybody following along? Feliz Brutality, nice move on the inside. Calls off the jam after picking up 4 more points for the High Rollers.
On the line for your Breakneck Buddies, number 523, Liquor and Split.
Her opposition on the jam line, number 1, 2, 3, 4, Napoleon blown apart.
Breakneck Betties down 2 going into this jam. Big push right from the start. Liquor and Split looking for a way through, but
nice move by Napoleon blown apart, going to the inside, picking up lead jammer status for the High Rollers.
Flexine has to let her go, and Liquor and Split is on her scoring pass.
Nice offense by Penny Dreadful. Napoleon blown apart, taking the cue. 4 points, High Rollers. And a team timeout being called by the Breakneck Betties. Let's kick it down to DJ Agent Meow, team timeout. And that ends the 1-minute team timeout taken by the Breakneck Betties. High Rollers have come out and established a 36-5 lead, but we don't even have 10 minutes off the clock yet, Magic.
That is absolutely nuts. Speaking of nuts, Chestnuts up for the Breakneck Betties.
That's a beautiful segue. Minstrel Psycho jamming for the High Rollers.
Scrappy-go-lucky dishing it out in the backfield there, and Chestnut's playing right along.
Forearm penalty, not to Minstrel Psycho. Instead, Minstrel Psycho is your lead jammer. That forearm penalty goes to Ripley.
Chestnuts picks up a cut. She'll be spending a minute in the box. That leaves Minstrel Psycho on the track all by herself. Right now up against Indigo Hurls, Scrappy-go-lucky, and Megahertz.
Nice play by the High Rollers, forcing the Breakneck Betties to skate forward. Minstrel Psycho through the pack, 5-point grand slam, High Rollers. Napalm Beth being sent off the track for the High Rollers. Elbow penalty, it appears.
And Breakneck Betties setting up shop in the front line.
And it appears as though Napalm Beth may have picked up 2 minutes.
Scrappy-go-lucky, Megahertz doing a great job up front. Locking down Layla Smackdown, giving everybody a few swings at Minstrel Psycho on her way up front. Scrappy's there to hang her up, can't do it.
Nice job by Minstrel Psycho, keeping those skates in bound. 5-point grand slam, High Rollers.
Chestnut's right back at it, blasts her way through that line. Bashanista trying to slow her down, can't do it.
Indigo Hurls direction of play penalty. Nice bit of offense by Flexine against Scrappy-go-lucky, and Minstrel Psycho, a 4-point scoring pass for the High Rollers.
Chestnut's up front, Flexine and Layla Smackdown there to stop her.
3 points picked up by the Betties at the end of that jam. Holy cow.
This game came to life all of a sudden.
Big brothers and big sisters, sports buddies. Rose City Rollers is proud to be a sports buddy partner, encouraging young people to get out and get active. Big brothers and big sisters, sports buddies.
Looks like we have an official review being...
I'd like to take this opportunity to wish a happy birthday to Grace Ozine. Happy birthday, Grace.
It does appear as though we do have an official review on the track. Cadillac and White Flight both out talking to the referee crew.
You know, Mike, speaking of White Flight,
Yeah.
she informed me of a secret earlier this evening.
Oh, really?
I don't know if she wanted me to tell everybody, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
It's KC's birthday. Everybody make some noise for KC.
Happy 30th birthday, Casey.
I don't know if it's that KC. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday if it's your birthday anyway, dude.
That's right. Happy birthday.
And
Warden calling the two coaches back into the center to explain the findings of the official review.
You know, something really interesting to point out here, Mike Checks. Out of the last 6 jams, 3 of which have been in a power jam for the High Rollers, and they've really tore up this score because of those.
Indeed, High Rollers 50, Breakneck Betties 8, as we are getting ready for gameplay to continue. Feliz Brutality on the line for the High Rollers. Much mayhem for the Breakneck Betties.
much mayhem driving that line forward. High Rollers there hanging her up.
Feliz Brutality being hung up in the backfield.
Penny Dreadful taking a huge swing at her, but she shrugs it off. Lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Feliz Brutality losing her footing there on the far straightaway, gets around Shove Me Tender, and Feliz is clear of the pack on her initial pass.
Breakneck Betties doing a great job opening up some great big holes for their jammer.
4 points, for Much Mayhem.
That's good. Betty's hanging up front, managing the speed of the pack, and that jam is off.
New Belgian Brewing, Fat Tire Ale, or Ranger IPA. Grab one from concessions.
18 minutes left to play in this first half. High Rollers on top 50-12 as Napoleon Blown Apart returns to the jam line for the High Rollers.
And for your Breakneck Betties, that's number 2x4 Deconstructor.
Scouts honor being sent to the penalty box, direction of play penalty. Napoleon Blown Apart, lead jammer, High Rollers.
Deconstructor still working on her initial pass through the pack. The High Rollers there just hanging her up.
Northern Lights Out also sent to the penalty box. Megahertz putting a huge hit on Layla's smackdown, but that allows Napoleon Blown Apart to traverse the pack untouched. 5-point grand slam, High Rollers.
High Rollers owning that front line on the pack right now. Deconstructor up against it. Works her way around, but she's got Flexine and Napalm Beth to get by.
Napoleon Blown Apart through the pack once again. Great offense in the backfield by Layla Smackdown. 3 more points for the High Rollers.
On the line for your Breakneck Betties, number 523 Liquor and Split.
Number 48, Feliz Brutality, jamming for the High Rollers.
Liquor and Split with some amazing defense of her own right away. Staking her claim back between turns 3 and 4. Let the music swell.
So the Betties, who are behind by 46 points right now, are choosing to burn as much time off the clock as they can to get their blockers back.
High Rollers just skating, making this game move forward. Liquor and Split. Feliz Brutality back in the game. Liquor and Split up against that green wall in the front. Penny Dreadful right there hanging her up. Lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Feliz Brutality out of the pack on her initial pass.
All right, let's reset for that next jam. Everybody got.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
On the line for your Breakneck Betties, once again, that's Much Mayhem.
Minstrel Psycho jamming for the High Rollers.
Much Mayhem taking a beating in the backfield from Napalm Beth. And the pack skating in the wrong direction. Much Mayhem up front, still pushing her way forward, trying to get through. Layla Smackdown's there, taking a swing.
Well, that was some amazing passive offense by the Betties there. An amazing display of skill getting their jammer through the pack first.
Much Mayhem weaving her way through that line. Absolutely amazing skating. One more to get by. She's through. 5, Much Mayhem.
Cut. Penalty. Minstrel Psycho sends her to the penalty box. Power jam Betties.
Much Mayhem hurls herself at that front line, picks up a back block, and will be spending a minute in the penalty box.
Credit to Flexine for standing her ground there and drawing that back block major.
We will see a switch as soon as she takes a seat. That puts Minstrel Psycho right back on the track. High Rollers with the advantage at the moment. Minstrel Psycho weaving her way through.
4 points for the High Rollers as Ripley heads to the penalty box for the Breakneck Betties.
Breakneck Betties setting up shop up front. Much mayhem back on the track, driving that line forward. Layla Smackdown's there to meet her, flexing in, taking a swing at it.
Nice positional blocking up front by Layla Smackdown. Much mayhem finds her way through. Minstrel Psycho also threw 4 points for each jammer on that trip through the pack.
Up front, push Latush. And that jam is off.
All right, fans, we've got 12 minutes and 25 seconds left in this first half. High Rollers with a 68-30 lead. And Napoleon Blown Apart returning to the jam line for the High Rollers.
And Breakneck Alley makes some noise for Chestnuts.
And an official review being called on the track. Wench Warden signaling over to White Flight. Apparently the Breakneck Betties calling for that official review. That's right, fans, make some noise for Jump Cut Purple Rain in the T-shirt cannon! Nice shooting.
Magic Pony, the reason for this official timeout, they're verifying points out there right now. There's a question on to whether they had a first pass on the first pass through, and they wanted to make sure that the points were actually correct.
Fair enough, that's important, very important.
Only if you're concerned with things like points.
Napoleon Blown Apart on the jam line opposite Chestnuts. Layla Smackdown in the backfield playing some defense and some offense at the same time.
Pack is really bunched together going into the turn, but making her move on the outside, it's Chestnuts taking lead jammer for the Breakneck Betties.
Napoleon Blown Apart also clear of the pack on her initial pass. Both jammers now eligible to score for their team.
Chestnuts calling that thing, pulling off one before she was done.
I'd like to remind everybody about an after event party. It's going to be at the Rotour 315 Southeast 3rd Avenue. You can get free admission tonight with your Bout ticket or wristband. There's going to be a dance party with a DJ Guiel DeFunk.
Back on the line, number 523, Liquor and Split.
Opposite number 210, Heidi Goes Seek, jamming for the High Rollers, and she barrels through that pack to lead jammer status.
That was amazing. Liquor and Split. I lost her in the pack back there.
Somebody lost their cap.
I think that's why I couldn't find her. Donning her cap. And back at the line, Liquor and Split. Felice Brutality there to hang her up.
Heidi Goes Seek, track cut penalty. That's going to send her to the penalty box and puts Liquor and Split in a power jam. And the Betties with that patented passive offense.
Nice. Texine on her way to the penalty box.
Flexine headed to the penalty box for the high rollers.
I thought she was saying something dirty. All right. All the way through once again. Breakneck Betties setting up shop on the outside line. Mia Farrell can't stop her. Feliz Brutality.
Betty's cashing in on the penalty problems with the high rollers now. Betty's now within 21 points.
Slamming into that line. Liquor and Split breaks through, picks up another 5. Feliz Brutality, Mia Farrell up front, being joined by Skeeve Holt. Around the outside, 1 foot.
Northern
5
Lights
points.
Out sent to the penalty box on a direction of play penalty.
And Heidi Go Seek back on the track, working her way through.
Heidi Go Seek gets around Scrappy Go Lucky, 4-point scoring pass, high rollers.
Liquor and Split breaks through.
2 more points for the Breakneck Betties.
And
13 points separating these two teams.
Delta Cafe, amazing Southern fare, big eats, and stiff drinks. Go on down to the Delta Cafe.
much mayhem on the line for your Breakneck Betties, getting tossed on the outside.
Minstrel Psycho, some great footwork, dancing around Indigo Hurls on her way to lead jammer status for the High Rollers.
Oh, much mayhem, slips right around Flexine and is on her scoring pass.
Napalm Beth to the penalty box, Megahertz to the penalty box. 4 points for Minstrel Psycho.
A really good night for her tonight.
Wow. And I can't get it.
On the line, Chestnuts for your Breakneck Betties, and once again for your High Rollers. Make some noise for Napoleon blown apart. Everybody lined up. Scrum start. Napoleon makes a sprint forward around the outside and takes lead jammer before turn one.
What an amazing move by Napoleon, blown apart right there. Chestnut still fighting her way through. She is clear on her initial pass for the Betties.
Ari Kari on her way to the penalty box. Half-size derby right now. Napoleon blown apart. Up on the blocks, ready to work her way past. Shove me tender, taking a swing at it, can't do it, calls it.
Nice move
4
by
points.
Napoleon, blown apart there to pick up all 4 points for the High Rollers.
On the line once again for your Breakneck Betties. Make some more noise for Liquor and Split.
Players Club, show some love for Heidi Go Seek! Can't.
High Rollers down 2, but if you're gonna have 2 on the track, I'd love to have those 2. Right up front, Layla Smackdown. And Flexine with a huge hit, which she goes to the penalty box for.
Apparently a low block penalty being called on Flexine. Layla Smackdown still great positional blocking up front.
They hung her up for an awfully long time, but it's lead jammer, Breakneck Betties.
Heidi Go Seek still fighting Push Latush and Scrappy Go Lucky up front.
Breaks out on her scoring pass. Re-engaging. Napalm Beth's there, can't stop her. Through for 4 and call.
Visit OHSUSportsMedicine.com for injury prevention and community athletic profiles, including posts by your very own Rose City Rollers.
Much mayhem back on the line.
Opposite Feliz Brutality for the High Rollers.
High Rollers suffering from a little bit of penalty trouble right now. Only 2 blockers on the track. And Layla following Much Mayhem all the way into the turn, slowing her down and recycling her.
And Feliz Brutality, your lead jammer. Amazing blocking up front by Layla Smackdown as she's joined by her teammates.
Much round the outside on her scoring pass. Breakneck Betties fighting for the front.
Feliz Brutality, huge hit. 1 point picked up by the High Rollers. Betties held scoreless in that jam. $18-point difference as we near the 4-minute mark left to play in this first half. Napoleon Blown Apart returns to the jam line for the High Rollers.
And it's Chestnuts for your Breakneck Betties.
I know I'm going to jinx this by saying it, but we're going to start with an empty penalty box on this jam, Magic.
Holy mackerel. Chestnuts pushing her way forward. Flexine out there working it.
And it's Napoleon Blown Apart, your lead jammer. Nice swarming defense and offense at the same time by the High Rollers blockers. Heidi Gosek being called for a back block major at the end of that jam.
I'd like to remind everybody to get your raffle tickets now. We've got a drawing for that Fat Tire bicycle you've seen all night. Tickets are only $1 a piece or 10 for $5.
Minstrel Psycho on the jam line once again. Opposite Liquor and Split. Liquor and Split through the pack first. She is your lead jammer. Minstrel Psycho also clear of the pack for the High Rollers. Ripley doing a good job making her presence felt in the front of the pack as Penny Dreadful picks up a track cut courtesy of Ripley. A quick hit it and quit it, 3 points for the Breakneck Betties.
I heard we had a 13-year-old birthday party for Aaliyah right here at the Rose City Rollers tonight.
Back on the line, number 77, Much Mayhem for your Breakneck Betties.
Number 48, Feliz Brutality jamming for the High Rollers.
Skeeve Holt and Napalm Beth jockeying for position up front, hoping that they can slow down Much Mayhem. And going into turn 2, she takes lead jammer.
That was some great teamwork by Megahertz and Much Mayhem there to get Much Mayhem through for that lead jammer status. Feliz Brutality fighting against Avalanche, Megahertz, and Deconstructor.
Deconstructor forcing the cut.
Much Mayhem, 5-point grand slam for the Betties as Feliz Brutality heads to the penalty box.
Much Mayhem just drives her line, pushes herself through there and picks up 5 for her effort. Heidi Gosek back on the track. Much Mayhem around the inside. Nobody's there to stop her. All 4 Breakneck Betties blockers on the track opening up holes for their jammer right now.
And fans, we've got ourselves a tie bout. Megahertz leveling Napalm Beth as Much Mayhem is through for another 4-point pass. Betties take the lead.
Multiplayer block right there.
Penny Dreadful headed to the penalty box, as is Much Mayhem for a back block.
Everybody trying to figure out what to do. Breakneck Betty setting up shop up front and hanging up Feliz Brutality.
I'm glad that the decision was to skate forward. I'm a big fan of that decision.
I like that too.
Feliz Brutality trying to find an answer to Shove Me Tender. She does, and she is clear on her initial pass.
And that jam is off.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is halftime. Breakneck Betties come storming back to take a 4-point lead going into the break. Make sure you stick around. You don't want to miss the end of this. And the first jam of the second half underway. Napoleon blown apart, 1 to beat. That Scrappy-Go-Lucky. Scouts on her, up to help out.
Holy mackerel, lots of tumbles.
Napoleon blown apart into the penalty box. Low block.
Much mayhem released back onto the track. High rollers setting up shop up in front of her. Drag her to the inside.
Much mayhem, not the lead jammer, past one of the high rollers blockers who is out of bounds. Scouts on her being sent to the penalty box for the Breakneck Betties.
Penny Dreadful rejoins the track. Much mayhem up against that green wall in the front. Napalm Beth with a huge hit, drops her in the turn. And is in fact on her way to the penalty box for probably that hit. Flexine over there doing a great job. Breakneck Betties dragging Napoleon blown apart way to the back. Scrappy-Go-Lucky going to the penalty box.
Scrappy-Go-Lucky with a direction of play penalty. That kind of happens when you skate backwards.
With so much skating backwards going on, how can they tell the difference? All right, Breakneck Betties making their move, driving that line forward. Chestnuts and Megahertz making the big push. Napoleon.
Nice hit by Penny Dreadful, forcing Much Mayhem out. Napoleon blown apart through the pack for 4 points.
Megahertz with a big hit on Penny Dreadful, drops her.
Megahertz is trying to hit every high roller out there right now.
Wow, a scary physical jam.
Breakneck Betties extending their lead to 14 points.
And
an official timeout on the track.
Well, Magic Pony and Mike checks. It looks like they were just taking a quick moment to review the hits, the rules, and making sure that it's being called equally all the way around.
Well, we definitely want to make sure that's happening.
yeah. On the line for your Breakneck Betties. Breakneck Alley, make some noise for Liquor and Split. Really?
Feliz Brutality on the line for the high rollers.
Everybody at it. Liquor and Split getting manhandled in the backfield by Napoleon blown apart. No, by Skeeve Holt. Sorry about that.
Actually, it's Minstrel Psycho and Heidi Go Seek trying to hold her back. However, Liquor and Split through for lead jammer status. Feliz Brutality now clear of the pack for the high rollers. Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box empty right now.
Everybody on the track. Napalm Beth with a nice tap. And the jam is off.
1 point scored by the Betties there as they extend their lead to 14.
DerbyFit.com and Spark. They want you to rock, recover, and repeat. Rose City Rollers Independent Advocare Distributor.
Number 2x4, Deconstructor on the line.
Opposite Napoleon blown apart for the high rollers.
Oh my, there's 10 skaters on the track, Mike.
That's a lot of skaters.
I know, Penny Dreadful and Layla Smackdown running a clinic on the backfield. Deconstructor taking a hang up.
Megahertz sent off the track. Napoleon blown apart through the pack. Not your lead jammer past a Betty that was out of bounds. Deconstructor now headed to the penalty box. Power Jam High Rollers. And Napoleon on one skate through the pack. Grand Slam High Rollers.
Ripley on her way to the penalty box. Breakneck Betties down 2. Napoleon blown apart through the open barn door. Quick 5.
Not passive offense is amazing. It's working out for the High Rollers well as Napoleon blown apart through the pack. Grand Slam High Rollers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's officially a tie game. Make some noise for the number 100.
Well, sir, you spoke too soon, as we usually do. Napoleon blown apart, 5-point Grand Slam, lead change High Rollers.
Overachieving as always.
Napoleon blown apart, 5 more points for the High Rollers. Hey, wait for it. Guess what? 5 more points. Napoleon blown apart. High Rollers. And Napoleon again.
Down, up and running. I do believe this might be a 30-plus point jam for Napoleon blown apart.
Megahertz leveled Flexine, however, going to be hanging out in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for that. 4 points picked up by Deconstructor. Official timeout. No points picked up by Napoleon blown apart on that last trip around.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please make some noise for the number 35. That's what Napoleon blown apart pulled down in that very jam.
35-point performance by Napoleon blown apart. She has turned in some of her career bouts in this building, and tonight another one. No, it's Napoleon. Nuts each from Betty's.
Shut up. Still nuts.
T-shirt cannon. You know, fans, as Wench Wharton addresses both of the coaches, I would like to give my personal thanks to our events director, Dragon Lady, somebody who is usually behind the scenes, sometimes out in front of the stage. You know, she does a lot. I appreciate her immensely.
Me too.
What have we learned, the King? So apparently there's an ongoing debate regarding one of the penalties in that last jam, and
I'll tell you what, if you were busy like I was and you missed that hit, you will have a chance to see it later on because of Blaze streaming media. They're getting this bout out online right now, and if there is a rerun in the future, it will be because of them.
And it appears as though Megahertz has been relieved of her skating duties this evening, ejected for the gross misconduct penalty in that last jam. Well, you know, if you're going to go out in style. All right, from head referee Wench Wharton, that was a flagrant forearm by Megahertz, and she has been expelled from the bout. So, with 24 minutes and 27 seconds left in this bout, High Rollers currently with a 16-point lead on the Breakneck Betties at 120 to 104, Magic.
Breakneck Betties putting much mayhem on the line.
Opposite Minstrel Psycho for the High Rollers.
It's a push. Much mayhem makes the run for the outside line. Heidi Go Seek there to stop her. Up front, it's Much Mayhem taking lead jammer.
Minstrel Psycho being held up by the Betties, one to beat. Heidi Go Seek trying to play some offense for her. There's that offense. Minstrel Psycho free now on her initial pass.
Chestnuts and Scouts Honor out there. Looking to drill some cover for their jammer. Coming around, Much Mayhem up against Skeeve Holt.
Nice counter block by Skeeve Holt against Scouts Honor in the backfield there.
Oh,
120 to 105.
OHSU Sports Medicine is proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers. Receive next day medical care by using our sports medicine hotline at 494-4000.
Back on the line for your Breakneck Betties, Liquor and Split.
Opposite Feliz Brutality, and again some jammer offense by Liquor and Split. Being held up in the backfield by Penny Dreadful, Flexine. And it's Feliz Brutality, your lead jammer.
Heidi Go Seek on her way to the penalty box.
Flexine and Penny Dreadful, nice job battling up front. Liquor and Split through on her initial pass.
Much Mayhem driving her way through that line. Shove Me Tender, Scrappy Go Lucky, push Latouche there to hang her up. Scrappy with a nice drop to the inside, and she's forced to call it off.
2 points picked up by Feliz Brutality. Both of these teams trying to nickel and dime one another as we've still got just a little more than 20 minutes left to play in this bout.
I would like to give big thanks to all the volunteers that show up to help us tonight. If you too want to become the magic that is the Rose City Rollers, check out our volunteer table in the concourse, and you can see what opportunities you can do to become part of this league. Sign up and get involved today.
Napoleon blown apart jamming for the High Rollers. Chestnuts trying to play some jammer offense.
Chestnuts pushing her way through the pack. Up to the front, one more to get by, but it's Layla Smackdown hanging her up on the line.
Nice blocking by Layla Smackdown up front. Skeeve Holt bridging, but it's lead jammer status going to the Breakneck Betties.
Napoleon blown apart, breaks out, finds some sunshine. Gets hung up with 1 foot on the inside line and recycled to the very back.
Chestnuts barrels her way through that pack. That's a 5-point grand slam for the Breakneck Betties. Napoleon blown apart now clear on her initial pass. High Rollers losing Rogue 1 on a cut penalty. 2 more points for the Breakneck Betties. And only 10 points separating these teams. Players Club, show the High Rollers some love!
Back on the line, number 77, Much Mayhem for your Breakneck Betties.
Opposite Feliz Brutality for the High Rollers.
High Rollers dropping Much Mayhem to the outside and recycling to get in front of her again.
Much Mayhem around the outside, lead jammer status, Breakneck Betties.
Feliz Brutality working her way around. Northern lights out there to meet her.
Nice assist by Flexine, keeping Feliz Brutality on her skates and pushes her through on her initial pass.
Flexine and Harikari up front.
Much Mayhem gets right around them. 4-point pass, Breakneck Betties. Woo!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want the party to end, we got an after party after this game. It's at the Road Tour, 315 Southeast 3rd Avenue. You can get in with free admission tonight by bringing your bout ticket and wristband. There's a dance party also, so come on down.
Heidi Go Seek on the jam line for the high rollers.
And Liquor and Split.
Betties with a 4-3 pack advantage to start.
Liquor and Split pushing her way through, shooting to the inside.
But it's Heidi Go Seek round the outside, lead jammer status, high rollers. Avalanche on her way to the penalty box for the Betties.
Penny Dreadful and Layla Smackdown hanging her up front. Layla drops her to the outside.
Nice job by Layla Smackdown. Heidi Go Seek through. Grand Slam high rollers.
Scouts on her, drop to the penalty box. Heidi Go Seek charging the line. Drop to the in and call.
Heidi Go Seek picking up 4 points on that scoring pass for the high rollers. And Ripley being sent to the penalty box for a low block, it looks like.
And they waved her back onto the track.
That's because there's already 2 Breakneck Betties in the penalty box and 2 high rollers.
So glad you're here, because
Oh, don't think that I know what's going on. I'm just hanging on by a thread. Feliz Brutality jamming once again for the high rollers opposite Much Mayhem.
Napalm Beth and Skeeve Holt holding that back line.
Multiplayer block being called. I believe that was called on Ripley again. Lead jammer status goes to Feliz Brutality.
Much Mayhem really working to get herself through there.
Now it's interesting, Magic, I believe Ripley is sitting on 2 penalty minutes right now for the Betties, so when she's able to report to the box, she may be sitting for 2 minutes.
And I do believe what we call this that's going on right now, a couple skate.
Much Mayhem opposite Feliz Brutality. Both teams hurting in the blocker department right now.
Jammer on jammer action in the backfield. Much Mayhem taking a swing at Feliz Brutality. This jam's gonna go on for a while. Both teams looking to clear the box. Feliz Brutality calling it off and taking to the track with everybody in play. That's the high roller.
All right, for everybody who's having a good time out there, I want to let everybody know we have season passes available. It includes entries to all 2013 bouts, a special edition Rose City Rollers scarf, and you get to attend the Portland versus London bout. All you got to do is buy a pass. Go to rosecityrollers.com and get that pass today.
Number 523, Liquor and Split for your Betties, and Heidi Go Seek for the high rollers. Heidi Go Seek bumps up against that line and blows right through with Liquor and Split right behind her.
Lead jammer going to Heidi Go Seek. Penny Dreadful and Minstrel Psycho both being sent to the penalty box now.
Breakneck Betties setting up shop in the front.
High rollers now overtaking the front of the pack.
A lot of really quick action going on here right now.
Great offense and defense going on right there. Northern Lights Out trying to slow down Heidi Go Seek.
Deconstructor swing and a miss. Heidi saw her coming.
Jammers matching points so far, 4 even for each this jam.
Breakneck Betties making their move, trying to take the front of the pack.
Napalm Beth and Harry Carey not having any part of that though. Wow, what a speedy pack.
I imagine this is what speed skating's like. Wow. Liquor shrugging off a couple of huge hits and breaking through.
Nice play by the Betties blockers there, getting her some offense.
Heidi Go Seek calls it off.
Wow, some great derby there. Real quick, Camilla and Janessa are somewhere in the audience, and I've heard that they are having a wonderful time at Derby tonight. I hope you were enjoying yourselves, Camilla and Janessa.
What are you supposed to do with this?
Napoleon blown apart, jamming opposite Much Mayhem. High Rollers with a 13-point lead as we have less than 15 minutes to go in this second half. Napoleon blown apart, your lead jammer, High Rollers. Layla Smackdown being sent to the penalty box for a high block.
I couldn't even tell where to start with that. Much Mayhem breaks her way through. She's on her scoring pass.
Track cut on Napoleon blown apart. That will send her to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Much Mayhem dropped to the outside by Flexine. Flexine taking a number of hits. Corrective action. Much Mayhem blows it through for 4.
Passed one of the High Rollers blockers out of bounds. That's why it was only a 4-point pass and not a grand slam.
Flexine pushing her way up front to be there to hang things up for Much Mayhem.
Breakneck Betties, an amazing display of athleticism with this passive offense.
Flexine flying through with a huge hip. Slowing her down, pushing her to the outside. Can't quite do it!
Nice footwork by Much Mayhem, staying in bounds. Grand slam, Breakneck Betties.
Breakneck Betties making a huge push right now. We're down to a 4-point game. Flexine with a huge bump drops her to the outside. She'll come back in against the wall of Flexine, Layla Smackdown, and Bashionista. Much Mayhem disappears into the pack.
Napoleon blown apart though, jukes her way around Scrappy-Go-Lucky. 4-point scoring pass for Napoleon blown apart.
Much Mayhem just fighting for every inch back there. Pushing forward, Layla Smackdown still in front of her.
5 points, Much Mayhem. 3 points, Napoleon blown apart. Wow.
Snatching that lead change out of nowhere.
Hey, if you guys like numbers, rules, and roller derby, we have a job for you. Volunteer right now as a Rose City Roller official. Find out more by visiting the volunteer table in the lobby or by visiting rosecityrollers.com/volunteer.
On the line for the Breakneck Betties, first time of the evening, Scouts Honor.
Opposite Feliz Brutality for the High Rollers.
Scouts Honor runs right through it. High Rollers recycle up front to slow her down. Scouts Honor on the inside, wide open, breaks out, lead jammer.
High Rollers still trying to get Feliz Brutality through that pack. Quick recovery by Feliz. She is clear of the pack on her initial pass. Harry Carey headed to the penalty box. That leaves Spocker and Penny Dreadful as the only 2 High Rollers blockers on the track.
Scouts Honor dropped to the inside at the last second by Penny Dreadful, dragged to the back.
Multiplayer block being handed to somebody.
Scouts Honor picking up a cut on her way to the penalty box.
So Chestnuts in the penalty box for a multiplayer block. Scouts Honor on a track cut. Feliz Brutality and the High Rollers in a power jam.
Well, if you were only going to have 2 people on the track for your team, Shove Me Tender and Avalanche are not a bad duo. Shove Me Tender with a big hit right up front. Slows her right down.
Steve Holt being sent to the penalty box for a back block, or excuse me, direction of play. 5-point grand slam, Feliz Brutality.
Shove Avalanche up front. Northern Lights Out trying to get up to them.
Shaolin Spocker trying to keep her from rejoining them.
3-wall up front, Breakneck Betties looking to do some business. Penny Dreadful driving in, sweeping that line out of the way.
Harry Carey joining her teammates. Feliz Brutality taking some hits from Northern Lights Out. Nice offense by Harry Carey and Feliz Brutality. 5-point grand slam, High Rollers. That was a team effort. Timeout being called by the Breakneck Betties.
Harry Carey with the jam save on that one.
Yeah. No, that was an amazing swing. Yeah. So while we've got this team timeout, DJ Agent Meow, one last time, kick out those jams. Attention fans. There's only about 10 minutes left in this bout, and these teams are only separated by 18 points. That's worth cheering about. Thank you. I love each and every one of you.
Liquor and Split up for the Breakneck Betties. Drives right through that line and runs to the front.
Heidi Go Seek jamming for the high rollers.
Scrappy Go Lucky there to hang her up. She is not lead jammer, but Liquor and Split on her way to the penalty box.
Heidi Go Seek passed a Betty's blocker out of bounds. That would be Scrappy Go Lucky, who had to skate out of bounds when she passed her. Heidi Go Seek round the outside. 5-point grand slam high rollers.
Napalm Beth clearing the line at the back wall. Heidi Go Seek driving her way through it. Up front, Hostile Projectile and Deconstructor there to hang her up.
And I believe that's probably going to be a pair of out-of-play penalties. Deconstructor and Hostile Projectile.
Projectile.
Multiplayer block being called. Wait.
Deconstructor waved
and
back
a low
onto the
block.
track.
So we had a multiplayer and a low block. Scrappy off the track on the multiplayer. Heidi Go Seek on the low block. Ripley now headed to the penalty box for the Breakneck Betties. Shoot, I think you and I are going to have to go sit in the penalty box after this jam.
I want to go skate.
Liquor and Split now back out on the track for the Breakneck Betties.
Napalm Beth running the back line. Flexing almost stops her. Layla Smackdown's there to get her.
Track cut on Liquor and Split again. She is headed back to the penalty box for the Breakneck Betties. Monroe cannot believe it.
Hostile Projectile released onto the track. And the high rollers will start this next jam with a jammer on the track.
And we've got a team official timeout.
Somebody call a timeout, quick.
Official timeout on the track. Well, fans, let's talk about penalties real quick. As I mentioned at the very beginning of our first bout, 7 trips to the penalty box and you are done for the night. Currently, since we have such a close game here, Ripley has 6 trips to the box for the Betties. Megahertz was ejected from the game. She had 5. Scouts Honor has 5. For the high rollers, Heidi Go Seek with 5 trips to the box, as Napalm Beth has. King, what was going on?
They were just clarifying, making sure that everybody was in the box that was supposed to be in the box. Once they decided that everything was right, we're back on.
Wench Warden over addressing the Betty's bench right now. Deconstructor heads out to the track, which would mean that she has a penalty that she still has to serve. And it looks like a second minute was assessed to one of the Breakneck Betties. I believe it was their jammer. I'm going to talk to Wench Warden here and find out. All right, so Deconstructor is going to be serving 2 minutes when she goes to the penalty box. 1 for the penalty that she incurred in the last jam, 1 for the delay of game since her team did not have her on the track at the beginning of this jam.
Napoleon blown apart on the track all by herself. Avalanche and Deconstructor. That's on.
And now Deconstructed picking up a cut major as Napoleon blown apart picks up lead jammer status. I believe that's 3 minutes for Decon in the box.
Scrappy Go Lucky back on the track. Her and Chestnut's the only people out there for the Breakneck Betties. Liquor and Split being manhandled by Skeeve Holt in the backfield. It's Penny Dreadful. Scrappy Go Lucky. Penny Dreadful having it.
Well, in a great battle up front between Layla Smackdown and Liquor and Split. Layla Smackdown now being sent to the penalty box. Holy cow.
Up front. Chestnuts, Scrappy Go Lucky looking to hang up Napoleon blown apart.
Scrappy Go Lucky drops Napoleon blown apart. Napoleon quickly back on her feet though. 2 more points for the Breakneck Betties.
I'd like to remind everybody, February, we got some great bouts coming up, and you can get your tickets now on the Portland Mercury Ticketing.com. On the 22nd, GNR is going to be playing Salem's 8-Wheel Assassins. On the 23rd, the High Rollers are going to be taking on the Heartless Heathers. And on the 24th, you can see 4 Rosebuds teams battle it out for their home season.
Heidi Go Seek on the jam line for the High Rollers.
And much mayhem for the Breakneck Betties. Way up front, green wall. That's Napalm Beth and Flexine.
Heidi Go Seek trying to get around the Betties wall. It's Much Mayhem picking up lead jammer status.
Heidi Go Seek dropped to the outside. Northern Lights out there to hang her up.
Napalm Beth, some offense there. Heidi Go Seek through on her initial pass for the High Rollers.
Much Mayhem trying to make it through on the inside line. Scouts on her there to cover for Texine.
3-point scoring pass for Much Mayhem. 2 for Heidi Go Seek. Holy
right
cow.
now, Napoleon blown apart's leading the way with 72 points for the High Rollers.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. How many?
72.
72 points for Napoleon blown apart.
That's some big numbers. 72 points in this game. For who?
Napoleon blown apart.
On the line, once again, Chestnuts for the Breakneck Betties.
And Feliz Brutality for the High Rollers.
Chestnuts on the inside line makes the run for it. She's your lead jammer.
Skeeve Holt being sent off the track for a penalty. I think the number of penalties has broken my computer.
Computer says no.
Feliz Brutality trying to find a way around Scrappy Go Lucky and push Latush. Nice defense in the front.
Huge tumble. Turn 3.
Low block on Chestnut sends her back to the penalty box. Feliz Brutality clear. Scrappy Go Lucky picking up a high block that sends her to the penalty box.
Avalanche and push Latush moving to the backfield. Driving themselves forward, hoping they can get in the way of Feliz Brutality. Push Latush there, muscling her around.
High block, push Latush, sends her to the penalty box. Avalanche, the only Betty's blocker on the track right now. 5-point grand slam, Feliz Brutality.
Push being waved back onto the track. Her and Avalanche can't slow down Feliz Brutality.
Nice offense by Minstrel Psycho, helping Feliz get that grand slam her last trip through. Apparently these teams are averaging right now 2 minutes per jam of penalty box time.
Per jam.
That's a lot of box trips.
Chestnuts back in it. Looking for a way through, but those High Rollers have a green wall of defense up front.
Feliz Brutality trying to squeak through on the inside line. Wow. Under 3 minutes left to play. High Rollers crossing the 200-point line. Breakneck Betties 148.
You know, Mike Checks, you had talked about penalties. In the last 5 jams, the high rollers have benefited from 3 power jams. And that last jam, Felice Brutality just scored 24 points.
Oh, and that gives us a large part of our difference on the scoreboard. Napoleon blown apart on the jam line once again.
Liquor and Split hung up in the back of that pack.
Napoleon blown apart, lead jammer, high rollers. Napalm Beth and Layla Smackdown, as they have been all bout long, up front just punishing jammers.
High rollers up front, hanging up Liquor. Napoleon blown apart on the inside line, makes the run for it.
5-point grand slam, high rollers. Liquor and Split out of the pack on her initial pass for the Breakneck Betties.
High rollers owning the front of the pack. Napalm Beth there to swing things open. Napoleon blown apart, calls the jam.
3 more points by the high rollers. Napoleon blown apart. What an evening!
I'd like to remind everybody that there is an after party at the Road Tour. That's on 315 Southeast 3rd Avenue. You can get in for free with your bout ticket or wristband.
Once again, much mayhem up for your Breakneck Betties.
Felice Brutality jamming once again for the high rollers as we are under a minute left to play in this bout. Felice Brutality, lead jammer, high rollers.
Much mayhem breaks out of the pack. She's on her scoring pass. Breakneck Betties looking to take the front of this pack, but Penny Dreadful just giving it to everyone around her.
Scrappy Go Lucky also trying to hit everybody out on that track right now. Much mayhem, clear for a 4-point scoring pass.
Felice Brutality being hung up right now. Breaks through.
4 points, high rollers.
Much mayhem just throwing herself at that back line. Fashionista there hanging her up.
And Felice Brutality taking a page out of her coach's book, knowing she does not have to engage. Calls off the jam. High rollers extracting some revenge for the last season's loss to the Betties. Our unofficial final. High rollers 212, Betties 156.